All right, welcome back, folks. GodLike for their first win here this weekend. Realistically, though, problem's going to come down to who has more. GodLike going to be the first ones to strike. This GodLike roster from the Indian region was the undisputed team within that region. They were undefeated in every single map and match that they played. So if that doesn't tell you all you need to know, that's great. However, they've come to international play. They've already lost a series here today. So this is going to be the team that is looking for not only a regain, but to try and get themselves back to 1-1. A couple more losses could spell disaster for their tournament run. But regardless, for right now, 14-12, the advantage that they have. 20 seconds left on this hard point. Going to be looking for a rotation here as KingsClan have found their way back in the middle map. It'll be interesting to see if they throw another hit at this. Brody back here in just a moment. For the time being, you've got me. Marvel going to be there. Prevail's going to be able to take him down, and that should at least hold things off for a moment. It's going to be the side of KingsClan who have that rotation back over towards the opposite side. Hardpoint, they're going to be the first team here. Realistically, the south side hit going to be the one that GodLike are looking to go ahead and make everything look good. But as they hop on up, Prevail going to try and get himself a little bit of high ground positioning. Hipfire shots going to be there for one. This is going to be a great break here from GodLike if they can make it stick. Hunter, Killer, Drone, and Grenades are going to be able to equalize a trade. It's still a contested inside of the hard point for just a moment, but GodLike are able to make it stick. Trophy system going to be tossed forward. Abe is able to find one. Potentially could have been for two there, but no teammates there for help. KingsClan still looking here with 30 seconds left to make one more attempt at a break. It's going to be the entire yellow kill feed, though, as GodLike are going to be able to reclaim the lead. 25 seconds of potential scrap time here. Realistically, if you're KingsClan wanting to make a potential break back over to the opposite side of the map and just set up, maybe throw one or two more bodies at this, but now that you've lost that on the opposite side of the map, things could turn sour as the rotation is set up for KingsClan.
Alright, I'm here. Apologies for that, folks. I was away from my desk. I am back now to talk about KingsClan and GodLike, which looks like a pretty close game thus far. GodLike just 20 points to the advantage over KingsClan. As we move over towards the next hill, though, looks like KingsClan are going to be the first to touch. We'll see whether or not they can garner a lot of time off the back of this. GodLike need to try and unearth them from those back spawns. If not, they would just continue to spawn here over and over and over again. As I say, that one player that's actually going to spawn up. So Gravity Vortex are now starting to come out from GodLike. We were talking about this earlier on, why this thing is so good in hardpoint. There you see exactly why players just get pulled into it in the close quarter engagement.
Yeah, not able to get inside the lane. It locks down an entire site. For a team that's trying to make a push, it can be everything and a disaster. Equalizers used up at the top. Prevail going to hop down. Looks for a few players that are in front of him, able to find one, nobody else there. But now from the backside, Grizz is going to have the equalizers of his own. He's going to pop in, finds three, traded out immediately, but it's KingsClan who are able to break in. GodLike, though, have been the better team throughout the first few hills of this map. We'll see if that changes on the rotation as scrap time going to get locked down.
Right, GodLike now starting to command this game with a huge lead over KingsClan. This rotation is absolutely everything. GodLike, though, going to get taken out. We know how big of a hill this can be here on takeoff. So, fortunately enough, KingsClan, they're going to be the first one in for it. But now it's about holding it. Currently, there's three players, excuse me, isolated inside. Nice kill coming through from Neutrino, who's going to utilize the War Machine to try and break this one through. Lovely War Machine shots being put together by Neutrino, who not only removes both players that were sitting inside the hill, but also is now starting to zone off. This is worst case scenario here for KingsClan, who are already 70 points down, and now they don't have control of one of the money kills here on takeoff.
And the specialists just continue to get dumped in from GodLike. It seems like every single time we flip to one of the players, they've got the specialists going continuously, earning them, and they've got streaks to work with here. Two Predator missiles to use, one from one from Trunks, and the other one from Lean. As Learn's able to find one there, you can just sit that with the back pocket. 100-point lead almost here inside of the first 4 hard points, Brody. It's been a disaster for the Kings.
Yeah, KingsClan need to find a way back into this game right about now. I mean, you've given away a couple of streaks to Learn, and Trunks, and you've lost a 100-point deficit. There is a way back into this game. We've always said that. That's the way hardpoint works, but still, it's so daunting at this point. KingsClan got to find a way in, and it's got to start now with a second set of rotations. Have to have a good start to this one, and already Neutrino starting to put her down by bringing the Predator missile from the sky. Marvel is at the very least having a fun time. He's using the melee to try and get players out of power positions.
That's the old London special, no? Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah,
Neutrino.
You see the silence there, Alex? Yeah, exactly.
We like to poke fun at our British friends. Ray going to be able to get down immediately. But realistically, GodLike has been able to put the pressure on this KingsClan roster at every turn. A bit of heresy, so to speak. 30 seconds left in the middle of the map here now. Saze, a challenge, nothing there. And it's just been the same story every single time. For one good step that KingsClan take forward, GodLike, they take another 5. And their lead continuing to grow bit by bit here. Stop the bleeding for just a moment, but another hit from GodLike surely should come here in just a moment. They're going to be playing for the rotations, but they can also contest this. They've got plenty of time to work with, not only on the clock, but of course in the objective time.
And just look at the top right of the screen, folks. Look at the amount of utility that they now got on side. Not only do they have 3 streaks between them, they've got 4 specialist weapons. And yeah, King will get their own very soon. But at the end of the day, just the amount that they've got to work with is going to be so frustrating for KingsClan to try and deal with. And that's why everything they do have, they have to use perfectly. Grizz now going to go around with the equalizers. These things are horrible to go up against. But Neutrino going to neutralize that by taking a player out with the War Machine. Again, we talked about this, how much they've got. They're already utilizing 2 of them. Now trying to get some spawn trap kills with the War Machine is Neutrino. 2 left in there. Finally going to go down. GodLike now looking to take some time away from KingsClan. Trunks is just firing down range. 3 in a row from Trunks. The bullets bend round the wall. And GodLike now in commanding control of this game. They are living up to their name.
And it's so difficult when you have a hill that is basically crafted for the claw. You're able to bounce those, ricochet those shots off the wall at anybody trying to contest them while they're just walking into a slaughter line. So 186, 67, KingsClan starting to make their way back just a touch, but realistically, there's just nothing that they've been able to do. Every time they spawn in, it's just death on the opposite end. Abiz, the one living in the lobby at the moment with 29.
Oh boy, KingsClan. I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, since we said they kind of needed to put together a comeback, they've got, what, 20 points from GodLike. It's not been good whatsoever. But perhaps there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, you know, they've got control of P3 early on. See if that first touch advantage will prove to be exactly that, an advantage here moving forward. As right now, at least in the initial wave of gunfights, GodLike are not able to get in. Perhaps Trunks up top could put a stop to that. And yeah, exactly that. Grizz and Raid going to fall here. Spy, the only player with something to say about it, but already GodLike, they have broken through.
And it's unfortunate too. Marvel had the Annihilator ready to pop, ready to play with it, pulled it out and got shot in the back. Nothing of the sort to be had here for KingsClan. Just misfortune after misfortune. Going to be able to at least bounce a few shots with the claw on the back line to stop that attack from hitting forward. Right now, they're finally going to be able to eclipse that 3-digit mark. 100 points on the board, still down by a lot. Come back on the cards, though. Not out of the question just yet. GodLike, though, going to be able to break back in for the last 10 seconds of scrap.
I'll tell you what, GodLike, coming from a region that, generally speaking, people, well, I don't think they give anywhere near enough respect. Right now, they are proving they deserve all that respect and more. KingsClan just being put and thrown aside. GodLike, 34 seconds, or 33 seconds, excuse me, away from victory here in this game. With Neutrino and Learn already starting things strong on this next hill with a couple of kills. Trunks still up top. You've got to unnerve this player for KingsClan before you move forward in towards the hard point. He's just chilling around. How much more damage can you do? It's going to wait now for the rest of the team to come and help out Grizz with the equalizers. He's going to get shut down. There it is. We were waiting for Trunks to finally go off, and that is exactly what happened. GodLike now have got rid of those pesky KingsClan players, and now they've got the specialist weapons to zone off.
And that very well could have been the final break of the game that GodLike needed to be able to take advantage of map 1. 27 seconds, plenty of time to work with here. Contestant in for just a moment, but they've zoned everybody off. The back end, walking into the firing line once again. It's GodTrunks who has that swarm, who has that claw, who has the shots there. Shots below, not good. Sazi will finally break back in, but it's a Predator missile over the top that's able to find 2. Just 10 seconds now. They'll at least have to rotate to another hard point, but KingsClan just simply don't have an answer.
Yeah, you are just scrapping at this point to try and keep GodLike away from ending any time whatsoever, and that is just such a huge ask against any team, let alone GodLike, who are clearly quite proficient in hardpoint. They haven't lost one after all in the entirety of the regular season over in India. KingsClan have to be perfect from here on out, and already GodLike going to be the first team to touch. Raid will take down Neutrino at the very least, so there is some life still left in KingsClan, but again, you have to make sure not a single GodLike player touches this point.
Now Learn's in. Contestant there. 130 on the opposite end. Shots are going to be good from Learn. Everybody else being able to win gunfights around the hill, and that should just about do it. Nobody going to be there for a touch unless the contestant comes in there for just a second. GodLike, a 120-point win here in the hard point, one of the largest we've seen today. Unfortunately, the GodLike squad, excuse me, the KingsClan squad, going to be faltering early on in this series, and that's not what you want to see, especially with a 0-1 start already in the Swiss bracket.
Yeah, GodLike just having their way. with KingsClan. I mean, what else is there to say, to be honest, about the way that went? That is one of the most indomitable hardpoints we have seen today thus far. And KingsClan just look completely and utterly helpless. There's just nothing else you could say about it, right? I mean, you talk about kind of the multiple layers that there are to Call of Duty Mobile beyond just kind of the 1v1 gunfights and such. We talk about kind of specialist utilization, and every single specialist that we saw from KingsClan just fell flat pretty much, beyond like maybe one utilization. And every single one on the other side, I mean, GodLike made perfect use out of every single specialist they had on board to zone off the hills every single time. And I started off with the gravity vortex gun all the way back in like P3 on the very first set. I think from that point on, we kind of knew more or less how the game was going to go. Just incredible hardpoint play.
And I don't like this look either from this roster. As we see the cameras here, you know, nobody really talking, nobody really kind of saying anything inside of the group chat right now. And it's just like, it's one of those things where you've already lost a series here. You're now down 0-1. You lost a bad hard point by 120 points. This is where the mental situation and conversation starts to take its toll on these different players here. It's still just continuously nobody talking right now. Zoned off, not really locked in whatsoever, and that's what you hate to see out of these different players. You know, when you get to an environment where you're playing on the international stage, you're playing on the live stream, you're playing in front of hundreds of people, not only behind the scenes on stream, but in person as well, these things start to take a toll on you. Those losses become that much bigger. Those magnifications of those L's just are directly in your face, and if you're not able to bounce back and battle back from adversity, it's going to be very difficult. You can see the side of GodLike. You know, they're talking, they're having fun, they're looking at, they've got the headsets off, they're just kind of vibing right now. That's all they need to do. You just keep everything up, you keep going forward, you keep the momentum on your side, and that's all that's going to continue to happen.
I mean, momentum is most certainly on their side, and when we talk about search and destroy now as we move into it, GodLike, I mean, like, let's be honest, we'll get this out of the way right now. They haven't dropped a single map across the entirety of the Indian SPS. So just keep that to back of your minds, folks. We're not going to go into control and be like, well, hey, they're very good at control, because they didn't lose a control and they didn't lose an SD and they didn't lose a hard point. So it's just there. That's just kind of the baseline here while we're talking about this roster. But talking about KingsClan in particular, well, if they weren't going to win hard point in this series, which was their strongest game mode in stage 4, surely they'll win the search and destroy, because this is another one where they are 9-2 and they are very, very good in search and destroy. Again, it's you know, something they were able to play close against their opposition in the European finals. They've got to win this. It has to be done. If not, this would be one of the bigger upsets we have coming out of Swiss.
Not only that, but I mean, we just look back to the last series that GodLike played. There was a very, very large disparity against them in Cadendra. It was a 250-127 Apocalypse hardpoint that they dropped, and that one put a big damper on it. But they came back. They bounced back in that search and destroy. It went to a couple overtimes. They won 10-8 over that Cadendra team, but then they went to a standoff control where they lost 3-0. So these are the big questions that need to be asked about this GodLike roster. You've won your hard point. Now, can you clutch up and can you continue that throughout the series? Take this search and destroy and don't allow KingsClan a chance to get back into this, because the thing is if you allow KingsClan to get just even a little bit of hope, they're playing everything on the line right here. An 0-2 start in the Swiss bracket is almost a death sentence.
Man, it's really distressing, I would say. I mean, what's going on? That's the question for me, right? What is going on for the #1 European team to lose their first match of the day to Wolves, 0-2, by the way, and then to come out and lose the first map? It's not what you want to see whatsoever from KingsClan. They have to have a better search and destroy. They have to win it. Backs up against the wall if you're a KingsClan. Can you survive? We go over towards what I believe is Tunisia here between these two teams, and immediately it's going to be GodLike on the defense.
Yeah, you got a lot of players over here towards this A site already. We've had multiple gunfights across the map. That leaves us in a 3 versus 2 for the GodLike roster. Marvel in the back end with a sniper. Going to need to look for a challenge here. Trunks can't peek out just yet. Still a touch weak. Not going to be able to find the shots there. So a great round to start from GodLike. Bounces back early. They win the majority of the gunfights there on the site and are able to keep them off.
It does just feel like that, doesn't it, right? You know, an immediate joust over by 8. GodLike just come out on top, and that, you have to feel, part of that will probably be the momentum from that last game of just feeling so confident with the way that they're moving at the moment. KingsClan really wanted to win that first round. It's just not going to happen, though. It's going to be utility galore down this little cart, and Spy, Marvel, and Grizz, well, they come out and win 3 gunfights in a row. GodLike now going to have to find a response, and initially they do. 1v3, though, now for Neutrino.
I mean, are we playing Mercado or are we playing Tunisia here? I mean, this feels like the exact same story. Util thrown over the top, immediate gunfights over towards what would be Cantina building in Mercado. The exact same kind of setup. Challenge out from Spy and an immediate challenge of the slide across. It's a beautiful bait and switch that not only initially had KingsClan on the site with the gunfight wins, but of course takes it to the victory there at the end.
That's a response we wanted out of KingsClan. They used to get themselves moving pretty quickly here early on in this search and destroy. They have tied things up at 1-1. Now though, aggression from KingsClan. They should have the numbers over by the A site, but SPS at least is going to start things pretty strong with the initial pre-aim. It's going to be the pinstripe kill feed coming through, and in the end, KingsClan haven't really made much headway in terms of getting the bomb down. As Marvel picks up Learn, though, we go to a 2v2. Quick scope attempt from Marvel. Not going to land just yet. You try and play your life here if you're Marvel. Waste some time. This flank from Says can go through, and that is exactly what happens. Nice play. Nice little bait and switch there in the 2v2.
Yeah, it seems like the communication's on point right now from KingsClan. They've done that about 2 times already. The first round, they tried to get something like that off as well. Unfortunately, it was just an overpowering force from GodLike that was able to put all 5 of their forces over at A. Once again, though, it's going to be a 2-2 split across the map with one kind of playing a middle map angle. As he gets extremely aggressive here, Trunks is going to be looking for one. He's already knocked all the way down to 1 HP. Could find himself on the back burner here in just a moment. He's got the Fennec up close, so an opportunity to walk away with a gunfight win, but Saze's there once again.
Saze not going to be shut down here as well. I guess the good news is for GodLike in this situation is the KingsClan haven't actually made much headway to either of these bomb sites. KingsClan are most certainly playing this one a little bit more cautionary, and here comes the rotation now over towards B. It will just be Trunks and Neutrino. I say just Trunks and Neutrino, the way that they played map number 1. Won't be just them at all. Cannot underestimate them. And there you go, finally Neutrino going to pop off. Prevail finds one. Neutrino also going to go off. This rotation towards B has not worked out whatsoever. The trades are there. The numbers most certainly are not.
The last one will fall. Godlearn was able to rotate back over and across. And I like that play from GodLike. This time they don't have an all-out assault. A huge battle at the A site that is over within about 30 seconds. This one, a battle of attrition. You see the rotation from KingsClan back over towards the B site. There's 2 players there, Brody. You kind of said it perfectly. They're able to win the majority of the gunfights there. They give their teammates the opportunity to rotate back over. They have more forces there, and now we get another onslaught over at the A site. Prevails with the nade, and the Fennec over the top is going to be good for 2. KingsClan put on the back burner once again.
KingsClan just going to slide away here in the hopes that maybe somebody from GodLike will overshout. Prevail, most certainly, you can see him on the minimap. Feels like he's thinking about it. The KingsClan just now going to bide their time. Wait for somebody from GodLike to get over aggressive hit. Try and take them down, bring this to at the very least a 3 versus 4, because otherwise you don't really have much to work with. And as I say that, it is actually now just Raid. It's going to be the one playing patiently. As a matter of fact, through the middle of the map, it would be Saze and Marvel trying to do something. Raid there finally does exactly what I said he was going to do. Wait for somebody to approach him, take that player down, but you still need Raid to perhaps find a kill in the middle of the map, and Marvel actually has done exactly that.
Oh, it tries to snap to the second one, not going to be able to do so, but this is going to give Raid a much better position here in a 1 versus 2. Knows that he has one extremely weak for the back off. They're going to slide shot this bait and switch there. They'd stack up together. Could have been the optic lineup, but fortunately enough for themselves, they're going to be able to take that round. GodLike reclaims it a 3-2 lead.
So many of these rounds are now just going the way of kind of what whoever wins that initial joust on A, if the offense can't manage to kind of brute force their way on towards the site, they've got no choice but to back up and try and kind of, I'll say cheat. I know what a word would be, jank their way into a round victory, right? Try and be a little cheeky with it. Doesn't happen for KingsClan there. Now it's going to be a B hit properly for the first time here in this search and destroy. Is it the right decision though? That's the question for me. They're already down in numbers, but at the very least they do have site control.
Learned that he had an extra one there, but wisely backs off as the opposition of KingsClan. This time, though, Trunks is going to be in a great position here. Slide challenges out over towards that left side. Realizes that Spy is still there. Weaken the challenge. Hipfire not going to come through. So now it's a 2 versus 1. Spy the last alive. 1 HP. And Learn's going to be able to snap to him on the left. Another round straight here for GodLike is going to give them another advantage. This is continuing to take its toll, but now we're going to swap sides.
Yeah. So after all those offensive rounds, KingsClan only able to win 2. See now whether or not GodLike can fare better. Now, so many of these rounds have been determined by through the smoke who can come out on top. King Grizz there with the pre-fire to find the first, Spy with the second. And I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here, Alex, mate, because now GodLike are in the exact same position that KingsClan were in only a couple of rounds ago.
Yeah, it seems a bit samey. They also had the same split on the defensive side as well, where they had 3 players over towards A and then 2 at B. But right now, he's going to pull out the fist. He's going to get him out at the same time. The good old-fashioned beatdown is going to force a 1 versus 4. And Neutrino, the last alive here. It's going to be a one hell of a miracle if he's able to pull this thing off.
Yeah, I feel like when you're in a 4v1, right, you do have the confidence to kind of not rest on your laurels, to actually go hunting for this player. Might as well get the round over a little faster, get into the next one. Neutrino somehow slipped the net here. Gonna slowly but surely make his way over towards A, and at the very least, if he could get this bomb down, it might give him some way back into this round. Problem is, he has to do it quickly and has to get God timing. That's no longer going to happen here as Spy has his eyes on the site. Trino's going to check everything, but there is just way too much to check here. Big 1v1. There it is. Nice start from Neutrino, but now the players will swarm.
38 seconds. Has time to work with. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get that bomb down. And that could have been the difference maker in the round. If they give the solo challenges here, could be a very different story. Saze is not going to challenge out just yet, waiting for Raid and Grizz to be able to get back to it. Challenge out from Neutrino. First one going to line up. It's the bait and switch yet again, though. That's going to force the hand. KingsClan finally back on the board with another round.
A good effort from Neutrino, right? I mean, you knew that somebody was going to be hanging about the site. You needed to take them down, so there's no real way to just get the bomb down. Unless, again, you get that God timing. So, good effort. Did what he could in the 1v4, but... well, it doesn't work out. Again, another round decided by that initial joust in the midst of all the action, amidst all the smoke. GodLike not able to puncture their way in towards A. Perhaps they'll fare better on B. This is a strategy coming out from GodLike. They're waiting for aggression from KingsClan. And it is red because Spy is giving it to them. And there it is. Neutrino opens things up with the first blood. What a play from GodLike.
That was pretty. But you still have to execute either towards A or B. Right now, KingsClan not looking to give you any sort of leeway on this A site. Challenge, slide across. Prevail is going to be able to win it with the Fennec up close. Beautiful. That gives them a 5 versus 3. Great advantage now as they have the entire B site for free. The Wrap coming through in a flank potentially from Grizz could upset this.
Nice dissection so far from GodLike at the KingsClan defense, but the trade's now looking pretty good if you're a Marvel and Grizz. They've brought GodLike down to just what is on this site. Prevail, though, does take down Marvel. Now says a Grizz have to do this from different angles. And yeah, it's just really difficult to run into a pre-aim like that. AB is going to finish things off there with the snipe, and GodLike from the start of what was a very unique strategy, now going to take their first offensive round.
And I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that play with the sniper there. Marvel had the challenge out towards the left side, was able to get a pick. Saze had full health, needed to use his teammate as bait, and unfortunately, when he gets taken down, he just kind of plays the corner passively for another push up. Nothing comes of it. He gets taken down, and what could have been a retake unfortunately falls to the wayside. GodLike goes up 2 rounds. Now you're back at it on the opposite end. Saze this time going to play the corner passively, able to find one, gets out with his life, gives the advantage to KingsClan early on.
That advantage even going to go further as well as Prevail goes down. There goes Neutrino as well, 1 by 1. The hopes and dreams of winning this round are slipping away. It's all down to Abiz in 1v5. Look, if Abiz wins this, he can have 20 quid from me. Not that I would be betting on it, but that's 20 pounds. 20 Great British pounds, Alex.
I don't know what that equates to in USD, but you know what? I'll let you kind of like figure that out while I did. Yeah. I personally won't be offering any money out of my wallet, but I will say good job. GG go next. Grizz takes him down though, so yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah, just one of those rounds again, right, on the offense where it's just like you don't win the initials. And it feels like, you know, a forehead comment of the day, right? But it's just like if you don't win your offenses, your initials and your offenses, just, you know, getting to step 2 of the plan of getting the bomb down just becomes so much more significant.
Oh. Sniper challenge, not able to find anything just yet. Gonna pre-fire a couple more shots out. Might have been able to get the wall bang on some better timing there. Saze challenges back across over towards the left-hand side. If that was a wall-bangable spot, that would have been good for 1. Couple kills go back the opposite way. It's a 2-1 trade that allows GodLike to have themselves the lead here in the life count. Minute 30 left in the round.
Oh, what a nade. What a nade from Abiz. That completely clears the site. That stun as well will connect. This is such good utility usage coming out from Abiz. Surely not the sniper too. Now he's in trouble. I'll tell you what, he's got some balls. Abi's going to get taken down by Spy, though. Good trade coming out from Neutrino. Now a 3v1 situation as Saze left all on his lonesome. And goodness gracious, that nade to open up that site was pretty much everything.
100%. And you said it perfectly. That stun allowed them to get all the information that they were close. You challenge it out aggressively for a second, you're able to get the trade immediately. Once again, if you're KingsClan, you're down by another 2 rounds. You've hand and chipped the last couple of rounds. They've gone back and forth, but now at match point here, GodLike trying to tie this series up at 1 apiece. Something that they needed to keep not only themselves alive, but they would have went down 0-2 in the Swiss bracket, like we said beforehand. Could have been detrimental to their entire weekend. Nate going to be up. Neutrino will back off. Still nobody off the board just yet.
Yeah, I suppose that's the one positive here for GodLike, even if they haven't made any actual progress towards this A site. Nobody's died just yet. You can feel the tensions building. You can feel the push formulating for GodLike as they look for the 7th round to close out this best of 3 and upset KingsClan. And the team from India get it done. Rotation now from GodLike, but they are at the very least doing this as a full 5-man. Did they get caught off guard by Marvel?
Looks a bit different, though. This time, it's going to be the side of the offense that's able to take one of the players off of the B site. Looked very similar to what KingsClan did on the offensive side. Now it's Ray who's up close, but it's a trade immediately from Trunks that is going to allow them to have the site basically for free. But here comes the refract from KingsClan. Here. Spy's able to find one on the backside. Neutrino with the trade, and now the last one comes through. A beast with a sniper up close. We'll cap things off, and GodLike will take the search and destroy and force us to a map 3.
Wowee. 7-4 performance there from GodLike as they end up seeing in the series 2-0, right? Is my brain, did I just have a brain melt?
No, actually.
Did I just have a brain melt or did you have a brain melt? Which one had a brain melt?
No, I don't think there was a brain melt here. I'm like 90% positive we're going to a control for map 3. Like 99% sure. Like GodLike definitely won that, or excuse me. I don't even know anymore, right? I don't even know, dude. I don't even know.
I think GodLike just won 2-0.
I think so. I think so. Disregard.
Okay. All right. GodLike won 2-0, folks. We decided it. I'm pretty sure GodLike won. Okay. That is a massive upset, though. Just, getting past the confusion about whether GodLike did upset. That is a huge upset. KingsClan, representing the #1 seed from Europe, did not manage to make their way through to, well, I mean, look, 0-2 now, going into the next round of Swiss. Already losing to Wolves in round 1, to lose to GodLike in round 2. And KingsClan, they have to just take a real deep breath now moving forward in this tournament.
They do. Man, dude, like I said, dropping 0-1, not the end of the world. Ain't gonna ruin your chances by too much of a stretch. You're going up against other 0-1 teams when you get dropped down there, so a slightly easier bit of competition, although there have been some really strong teams that have again dropped down to 0-1, such as this GodLike roster. But again, now going to the 0-2 deficit, you got 3 more rounds to play through in the Swiss. You've basically got to win out from here on out if you want to have a chance of making the main bracket. That's where things get very tedious and very difficult. I really hope that KingsClan are able to clutch up and are able to get themselves back into a manageable grasp on their mental. But as we kind of talked about, between maps 1 and map 2, they looked zoned out. They looked uncontested. They looked like they were just kind of like fed up with things at this point. And that's not what you want to look. Nobody was talking. There was no communication between them saying, hey, let's go. We got this. Let's go into map 2. Sometimes all it takes is one person just to lead the team through the rough times. They didn't have that player. They didn't have that person that was trying to rally the troops. And unfortunately, now that they're down 0-2, they don't win out here. Very much could spell disaster in the end of their run.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like, Swiss can be relatively confusing for a caster who doesn't cast things that use Swiss that often, right? But I'm pretty sure if they go 0-3, they're done, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I believe so.
Yeah, that would be just devastating for KingsClan, who, I mean, look, again, they come in as the #1 team from Europe. And I know, look, Europe is obviously, all right, Alex, I'll admit it, Europe's not as good as North America. But, I still think it should be noted that is a pretty notable upset here. What is happening today? Like, something's in the water. I swear something is in the water, because we started off with Standpoint with their 2-0 versus TLE. We had an incredible match between Loops and Mayhem, in which Loops came out on top. And then, of course, we had to go to game 3 for LG and TG as well. I mean, like, dude, these games today have been phenomenal.
I mean, you got to show out. You got to show out. If you don't do either of those two things, you got to buck up and brace through the worst times possible on that lower side of the Swiss. Good Lord. I mean, it's crazy how many upsets we've had here today, though. Like And I guess that's what happens. Like, you go to the international stage, maybe you're not as comfortable. Maybe there's some things that are just kind of feeling a bit different. But
Yep.
it's so hard when we have to look at on paper and say, like, hey, you know, we have this team doing this in this region, and that's cool. But when you play other teams from other regions, it's a completely different animal at times.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing like when you talk about traditional Call of Duty as well. Like, before we had, you know, like the CDL and everything, when it used to be the old events, you would have those European teams that would come over against the North American teams, and a lot of people would be like, dude, how are they doing this well? There's a lot of different play styles and some things that feel a bit unorthodox to different regions that you're accustomed to when you're playing from your specific region. So it's really a battle of matchups, just like it is in traditional sports as well. Maybe, you know, one team isn't necessarily, quote, better than another team, but they are matched up perfectly against them to be that perfect caveat and that perfect counteraction moment.
Well, for all the Indian fans out there, GodLike have come to play. They get their first win on the board with a 2-0 versus KingsClan. They're not done yet, though. We've got more action from the Swiss tournament format. I can't speak. We've got more action from Swiss coming after this break.